Gentlemen, ladies. Hello. It's Takar Zoo. Let's build knowledge for my future self today. First part: Overcome Imposter Syndrome. Introduction. Imposter syndrome is a big deal for a lot of people. Imposter syndrome is something that can cause someone to feel like they do not belong somewhere and that others are going to start to notice that they do not belong there at all. This can cause a lot of stress and anxiety for the person who suffers from it and can make it hard for them to work on goals, accept praise, or do well in many aspects of their lives. In this article, we are going to take a look at some of the steps that you can take to help fight off imposter syndrome. This is a really hard thing to work with because it affects the mindset of the person who has to deal with it. When we feel like an imposter, there is often something from our pasts that have made that a reality, and it is hard to fight off. With some of the steps that we will walk through in this article, we will be able to learn how to deal with imposter syndrome to provide a better life for ourselves. Through recognizing what triggers imposter syndrome in ourselves to working on our self-confidence and speaking out when we need to be heard, there are methods that we can use to put imposter syndrome to rest. Even facing failures at work and learning how to deal with them properly will make it easier to handle. Fighting off imposter syndrome and finding a way to fit in is not going to be easy. This will not be solved overnight. Instead, you will need to work on it for a long time, learning how to improve your self-esteem and fighting off a lot of the negative thoughts in order to make it go away and to help yourself feel like you fit in better than before. This article is the tool that you need to work against imposter syndrome and to make sure you can live a life that you love. Take a look inside to see more about what imposter syndrome is all about, how it can affect your life, and some of the steps you can take to make sure it does not take over your life any longer. Chapter 1: What is imposter syndrome? People who struggle with something known as imposter syndrome often believe that they do not deserve their achievements or the high esteem that many others may have of them. They may feel that people see them in the wrong light, or that they are given more praise and accolades than they deserve. This can cause anxiety because they often worry others will catch on and see them as an imposter, which is where the name comes from. Someone with this disorder may feel that they are not as intelligent or competent as others may think they are, and they worry that soon enough, those around them will start to discover the truth. This is often unfounded. The person with the syndrome is usually bright and funny and does well with other people. They are not purposely trying to trick people. But when they get special recognition for something they worked hard on or did well, then they feel like they are deceiving others. Due to this, it is common to find those who have imposter syndrome as someone who is well accomplished. Many of these individuals will have numerous academic degrees or hold a high office of some kind, often because they worked hard and deserved it, though this syndrome makes them think otherwise. That brings up the question, why do people with this syndrome feel like they are frauds when there is a ton of evidence around them that point to their success? Instead of acknowledging their capabilities and the effort they put in, they will choose to attribute all their good accomplishments to external causes. For example, they may say that it was good timing or good luck that got them where they are. It is often due to personality traits that someone will have imposter syndrome. Those who experience it will struggle with a few other problems, including neuroticism, perfectionism, and self-efficacy. Competitive environments are thought to lay some of the groundwork for this. You may find that those who deal with this syndrome had to deal with a lot of pressure about their grades and doing well in school from their parents. The numbers of those with imposter syndrome is high for those who are high achievers. It is estimated that 25 to 30% of high achievers suffer from this. And to make it worse, studies have found that close to 70% of adults will experience imposterism at least once in their lifetime. Each person will come to this in a different way. Often the biggest trigger is when the successes of the person with it are brought up to attention. This could happen in many situations, including when the person gets an award, when they pass an exam, or they get that big promotion they deserve. When they are given attention for their hard work, they will feel like they are an imposter. Failure after having a string of successes can also cause someone to critique and question how smart or skilled they are. While imposter syndrome is not an official thing that you can be diagnosed, it is something that you are able to overcome. You will need to work on changing some of your own personal mindset about your achievements and some of your own abilities. It is common for the person to feel like they do not belong much, so being able to acknowledge that you do belong and to look at your own accomplishments and expertise will help you to remember that you earned a place in that environment. Comparing yourself to another person can make this imposter syndrome worse. When you see that others are working hard and achieving great things and then you hear that you did something great, you may compare it to the others and feel like you are a fraud for being recognized. When we stop the comparison and focus on what it is that we work on so hard, it will make a difference. What imposter syndrome feels like. These feelings of being an imposter will represent a big conflict between the way you perceive yourself and the way others perceive you as well. Even as others take the time to praise your talents, you will write them off, saying things just worked out because of good timing or good luck. Basically, you do not believe that it was your own merits that earned you the praise and you worry that others are going to realize this as well. As a consequence of this, you will pressure yourself to work harder to avoid detection and to avoid getting in trouble. Some of the things that will cause you to work harder include: you want to keep others from seeing your failures and shortcomings. You want to become more worthy of the roles that you currently have but do not believe you deserve. You want to make up for your lack of intelligence. You want to ease up some of the feelings that you have over tricking people. You put in all this extra work, which gets you more praise, and the cycle will just continue. These further accomplishments are not going to reassure you. You will just see them as the product of all your efforts to maintain the illusion of your success. When you get recognition, you assume that it is pity or sympathy. You will link all of the accomplishments that you have to chance, but you end up taking all the blame for mistakes that you make, even small ones. Over time, this will lead you to feel guilt, depression, and anxiety. The 5 types. There are actually 5 types of imposter syndrome that you may notice. These will often reflect the internal beliefs around what competency will mean to the individual. The 5 main types that you will encounter include: the perfectionist. They need everything to be perfect or they feel like a failure. No matter how hard they work, they feel like they need it to be perfect. The natural genius. Because you have spent a lot of time picking up skills with very little effort, you assume that all competent people can do the same thing, so there is nothing special about you. When something doesn't come easy to you, you will feel ashamed. The soloist. You believe that you can handle everything by yourself. When this proves to be false, you feel that you are not worth or a failure. The expert. Before you have a chance to consider your work a success, you need to learn absolutely everything about the topic. If you do not have all the answers, you feel like a fraud. The superhero. You link competence in how well you can succeed in all the roles you hold. Failing to navigate the demands of all these challenging roles can leave you feeling like a failure. Often the thoughts and ideas that come with this are not realistic. You need to take a step away from all of this and really explore why you feel this way and whether you need to adjust that thinking. When we learn how to take a step back and explore how you can change these negative mindsets. Chapter 2. Get to the root of the problem. In order to help yourself feel better with imposter syndrome, you need to be able to get to the root of the problem. This means you need to figure out the main reasons why you feel like an imposter in the first place. There is often something in our mindset or even in our pasts that make us feel like imposters. Recognizing this and doing something about it can help us recognize that we are amazing people and that we are not an imposter at all. Why do I feel like an imposter? There are different reasons why we may feel like an imposter. If we were under a lot of pressure as a child to perform well, we may have never measured up to the high standards that our parents had of us. When we do succeed as adults, we may still hold on to those feelings of inadequacy that we had as children. Others may congratulate us for doing well, but we feel like an imposter because we don't think that we deserve it. Another reason that we feel like an imposter is that you see all the other talented people around you. As you work your way up the ladder in whatever career you choose, you may be amazed by all the hard work that others can do and feel that they are not working as hard as others, so they do not feel they deserve the credit when they receive it. While the person themselves is often highly qualified and does deserve all the attention and praise they get, they often feel like a fraud and that it is just a matter of time before someone notices. If the person starts to feel like an imposter after a promotion or a big step up in their career, this could be due to the fact that they still feel like the same person they were before that promotion happened. While they did learn new things and gain more experience, this all happened slowly, while the shift into the new role can happen overnight. This is sometimes jarring to someone who may not understand how they got the position or feels like they are not the best choice for the job. The good news is all of this is that when you feel like an imposter, it is often because you are stretching, growing, and doing good things that may be new to you. You didn't get caught up in what was comfortable and instead decided to try new things. It may be a bit disconcerting to deal with, but it is a good thing when you learn how to handle it. Getting to the root of the problem. With this in mind, it is important to figure out how to get to the root of why you feel the way you do. Is it because you feel that you are not talented enough to have the position? Were you under a lot of stress for perfection and constantly failing as a kid? Do you not feel like you belong? And why are those feelings there? It is impossible to deal with the issues of being an imposter if you are not willing to look at what is causing you to feel this way in the first place. It is hard to do this. The answers do not always come as quickly as we would like. But taking a deep look at why you feel this way when you get legitimate praise and attention for your hard work, so you will no longer feel like an imposter. Chapter 3: Know Your Imposter Syndrome Triggers. Now we need to take a look at what some of the triggers are for imposter syndrome. This will showcase itself in different ways depending on the person who has it. Just because someone reacts in a certain way or has a specific trigger does not mean you will have the same one. In this chapter, we will take a closer look at some of your imposter syndrome triggers to help you recognize and prevent them in the future. Take a moment to think back to the first time you felt like a fraud. Where were you? Who was with you? What was said to you at the time? What thoughts were going through your mind at the time? What exactly made you feel like you were a fake? This is important to go through and answer these questions as much as possible. This is the first place where your imposter syndrome happened and can point out important clue to your triggers. It is likely that your triggers for imposter syndrome today are the same, or at least related to, that first experience with imposter syndrome. Why do you need to know what these triggers are? Because imposter syndrome is negative and can really mess with your happiness and self-confidence. Knowing them will make a big difference. There are different things that can trigger imposter syndrome. Some of the most common will include low confidence. This is the most common reason that you feel like an imposter. You may lack confidence and believe that you feel like an imposter because of that lack of confidence. Being out of the comfort zone. If you do something that is out of your comfort zone, then you may feel like an imposter. If you are getting a promotion, being a leader at the project, or doing public speaking, this syndrome can start to show up again. Achieving success quickly or fast for your age. If you get that big promotion while being the youngest on the team, it is normal to feel like an imposter. Or if you just started a new job and get moved up to a senior position in a few months, you can feel this way as well. Being in the minority. If there is some reason that you feel like the minority in the situation, this can make you feel like an imposter as well. This could be a situation such as being a woman in a male-dominated field. Being the first or only person like you. This could include being the youngest to do something, the first woman to do something, or even the first person in your family to do something. Since you have no one to compare yourself with, you may feel like an imposter. Your childhood. It is not uncommon for stuff from your childhood to make you feel like an imposter. The way that your parents taught you to view success, or if you were pushed to be perfect without ever reaching that lofty goal with your parents, you may notice your self-worth has taken a hit as well. This can carry on to your adult life as well. Bullying or harassment. This can happen in your personal life or in the workplace and can make it hard for you to experience some of the imposter syndrome that you are dealing with. When you are able to recognize what your trigger is for imposter syndrome, you will be able to fight it off and not feel like you are a big fraud or that you will be caught for not knowing what you are doing. You can release some of the negative thoughts in your mind and really get some of the recognition that you need for all your hard work in the process. Chapter 4: Building Self-Confidence One Day at a Time. As you took a look through some of the different triggers that will cause imposter syndrome, you may notice that a big issue has to do with the self-esteem of the individual who suffers from it. When their self-esteem is low, they are less likely to feel like they belong or that they are truly worth the praise and attention that they get. This means that the best way to deal with your imposter syndrome is to work on your self-confidence. There are different ways that you can build up your self-confidence. This does take some time and will not be something that you can do all at once. But one step at a time is often enough to help you gain the confidence that you need. Some of the steps that you can take to get your self-confidence to increase include: stop the comparison. This one is hard to do. If you have imposter syndrome, it is really easy to compare yourself to others all the time. That is part of the problem. If you constantly spend your time comparing your salary, your skills, your home, your car, and everything else about your life to others, then you are going to feel like you are less than other people and you may feel like an imposter when you do not get something that you need. When you compare yourself to others, it is easy to feel like you do not deserve certain things. Each person has their own talents and skills and they may be better than you at something. When you compare to a lot of people, you will always feel inadequate, even though you have your own special and unique characteristics as well. The comparison game is a hard one to fight off, but doing so will help you to improve your self-confidence while also stopping imposter syndrome. Surround yourself with positive people. The people you surround yourself with can make a big difference. Think about who you spend your personal time with. If you are around others who are negative and constantly judge you, it is hard to feel like you belong in a corporate field at all. You may get a promotion or something else, but feel like an imposter because you are brought back down to earth when you hang out with your friends. Or, if you are in a competitive workplace where others judge and mock you, this can cause problems as well. The people you spend your time with are able to influence your attitudes and thoughts about yourself more than you may think. If you feel bad about yourself when you are done hanging out with a friend or a group of friends, then it is time to change your friends. It is better to surround yourself with people who appreciate you, accept you, lift you up, and who want the best for you. When you are around these people, then you will see your self-confidence go through the roof. Take care of yourself. It is really hard to feel good about yourself if you do not take care of your body. Self-care is so important because it can make you feel better about your life in the process. This means you need to eat the right foods, exercise to get that heart rate up, meditate, and sleep enough. All of this will come together to make you feel good. And when you feel good about yourself, you will find that self-confidence is easier than ever before. Be kind to yourself. The world is tough enough. You need to use self-compassion to help treat yourself to kindness when you make a mistake or you have a setback in your life. You do not need to join in and start to berate yourself about the mistake. This is a great chance to learn something from the mistake. See it as a learning opportunity rather than something bad, and use self-compassion so you feel better about yourself. A study published in 2009 in the Journal of Personality found that self-compassion contributed to more consistent confidence. And since confidence is so important when it comes to fighting off imposter syndrome, self-care needs to be part of your regular routine. The next time that you find yourself in a situation that is challenging, recognizing that failing or being imperfect is part of living and the best thing to use at this time is self-compassion. Positive self-talk. Using self-talk will go along with our last part as well. Positive self-talk can help take some of that self-doubt away and some of the bad thoughts in your head and make them go away. Too many times we allow the negative self-talk limit all of our abilities and even lessen our confidence more than before. We believe that we are not able to do something because it is too hard and say shouldn't try for it. We assume that we don't deserve recognition or a promotion because we aren't smart enough or for some other reason. The next time that you start to notice some of those negative thoughts coming into your head, it is time to bring in some positive self-talk to help turn the negative into some of the positive. Think about some of the reasons why someone will choose you for the promotion, or all of the reasons why you are being recognized for your hard work. Just because others work hard and have a lot of amazing accomplishments does not mean that you are not worthy of some of the praise and attention as well. Stop using negative self-talk to convince you that you do not belong or value. Imposter syndrome will creep into your life for a wide variety of reasons. Being aware of how it will sneak into your life and improving your self-confidence will make a big difference in how much that imposter syndrome will take over your life. Self-confidence will not happen overnight, but with some practice and a little work, you can improve it and kick that imposter syndrome to the curb. Chapter 5. Don't be afraid to speak out. There are many negative thoughts that you may think when it comes to walking away without standing up for yourself in the workplace. You may decide to be quiet in order to prevent problems, or because you do not want to seem like a problem at work. But there are a lot of situations when you need to speak out to your boss and other co-workers, and failure to do so will cause a lot of problems. When you do not speak out and ask questions to learn, it can lead to a lot of issues. You may not understand how to get things done on a project. You may be overlooked for some things that you deserve, and you will feel ignored and overlooked when it comes to your work and how you contribute. Coulda, woulda and shoulda are some of the worst words that you can think about when you walk away from a situation at work where you should have spoken up for yourself. Whether this happens in your personal life or at work, it is important to be assertive, stand up for yourself, and speak out. But how do you become more assertive and make sure that others hear what you have to say? What is assertiveness? We need to take a look at assertiveness and understand that it is different than being aggressive. When you are aggressive, you are mean and loud and will say whatever you want, regardless of how it comes off or who gets hurt in the process. With assertiveness, you are letting your feelings known and speaking up, while still being considerate to others and how they feel as well. It is about not letting others walk all over you, while avoiding being mean and harsh in the process. Assertiveness is an important skill that you need to learn how to use when you want to build up a relationship, negotiate tasks and responsibilities, or when you need to work with a team of people in a variety of settings. Once you learn how to use assertiveness well, it can help you to become a better communicator, gives you confidence, helps you make decisions, will increase the respect others have for you, helps you stay true to your own goals and beliefs. If you walk away from a lot of interactions and can think of things that you should have said to the other person, or you noticed that you did not feel you were being heard during the conversation, then it is time to be more assertive in your interactions, especially when you are at work. This is the only way that others will hear you and you will begin to feel like you belong. Tips to be assertive. Being assertive takes a lot of time and effort and does not come easily to people, especially those who are suffering from imposter syndrome. You may need to work on this over time as well to make sure that you are being heard and not ignored in the process. Some of the things that you can do when it is time to be assertive and honest about any of your needs and feelings include: know the outcome that you would like to achieve before you even get started on the conversation. Pick a moment to be assertive when you know you are in control of your emotions. If the emotions get in the way, it will just make things that much harder to handle when you start. Practice what you want to say to the other person. This may seem strange, but it will make a difference and can give you a little bit of confidence. Try to sit or stand in a way that is comfortable. You need to look at the person directly whom you plan to speak with. You do not want to twist your neck around while you try to talk. You need to work with I statements to help make your case without placing blame on the other person. Rather than saying something like, "You never discussed the project with me," it may be better to say, "I feel like I did not get the right directions at the start of the process." This can help show that the feelings are coming from you and that you are being serious during it. When talking, it is best to be honest and direct with all of your goals, intentions, and feelings as soon as possible. It is fine to say no to any demand that may seem unreasonable to you. This one is hard for someone with imposter syndrome or someone who does not feel like they have enough confidence. When the request is unreasonable though, it is normal to say no to doing it and offer up an explanation to the other party when appropriate. You do not need to offer a bunch of excuses or apologize for saying no though. A good approach that you are able to use is to focus on stating the impact of the other person's behavior and why that bothers you so much. If you are always aware of what the impact of this situation is on other people and on yourself, then it is more likely that people will start to see you and what you are trying to communicate in a different light. For example, you could sit down with your boss or another co-worker and then give them an example of the behavior that you find problematic and then describe how it is impacting you. Then ask them for some suggestions on how the situation can be improved and made better. This helps to take some of the blame off and can avoid defensiveness while making it seem like you are partners in making the situation better. Keep in mind that assertiveness is not going to guarantee that you get the exact thing that you want each time, but it is a great way to gain more control while feeling less stressed out over situations that made you feel inadequate and like an imposter in the past. Chapter 6: Facing Failure at Work. Check out the link in the overview section for the rest of the story, articles and podcast. Here's the good news. If you enrollment Lifestyle University now. Special bonuses for taking action. Fast action bonus number 1. Point by point checklist. View or print this handy checklist so that you can check off each point. It is like a summary of the entire article but in actionable, bite-sized points so that you can successfully get through the course. Fast action bonus number 2. Resource cheat sheet. Deepen your knowledge and learn more with this handy resource cheat sheet. Fast action bonus number 3. Mind map. A quick glance over this mind map and you'll get an instant refresher of all the major points and action steps from the main article. Does that sound good or what? And then all you can read and all you can listen articles and audio posted 8 times a month or more. Of course, you can read and listen to the articles and audio you have posted so far. Also, if you listen to it as an audiobook when you commute to work, you can learn efficiently. Furthermore, information that can be used may change to the value of things for a lifetime for you. How much is all this going to cost you? You can own this article together with all the bonuses for a mere $5.99. That is a truly incredible deal. Did I mention this article is only $5.99? It's definitely a point worth repeating. You will be hard-pressed to find a more valuable resource. I'm delighted to have the chance to share this powerful article with you. Again, you will receive the comprehensive and valuable insights for only $5.99. Why not give it a try and join? The main article. Fast action bonus number 1, checklist. Fast action bonus number 2, resource cheat sheet. Fast action bonus number 3, mind map. Regular price, $26. Today only, $5.99. Check out the link in the overview section first. Podcast and articles. To your success. Every person always has the power to change their lives. Today is the youngest day. Let's act with knowledge and grow for the sake of our future self. If you are a gentleman or a lady who says it was good, please give me a high rating and subscribe to the channel. See you soon.